morning everyone. This is Manuraj from Tally.ERP Bangalore. Work for today. So we'll be starting the webinar session now. So welcome to the live webinar session on security control. Dear participants, in case if you have any questions and any doubts, kindly reply through chat. So that I'll read out your question and just clear your doubts. Is that clear to all the participants? If you have any questions, any concerns, okay, kindly reply through chat. Shall we start the webinar session, dear participants? So security control. Security control is an essential part of an organization without which an employee may be performing a number of non-essential tasks. For example, a data entry operator could create masters, view the trial balance, financial accounts, ratio analysis, or delete essential information, etc. Security control needs to be defined based on the work profile of an employee. Typically, in an organization, the administrator has all the access rights to the system, whereas the employees are given access rights based on their work profile, demonstrating segregation of duties. So this is the introduction of security control. Now we will go through the agenda. The agenda for today's webinar session is introduction of security control, Tally old password, security control, types of security levels, under that we will create new security level, we will assign security levels, creating users and passwords, voucher type security, disallow opening in educational mode, last but not least, question and answer session. This is the agenda for today's webinar session. If you have any doubts and any concerns, kindly reply through chat. Shall we continue? If yes, kindly reply through chat. Okay. So, security of data, confidentiality. So as for every business concern, the proprietor will have a concern that anybody is accessing his personal data. So, how do I ensure that the data is available only for me to access? So for this, we have a solution, that is Tally Vault password. So when you create a company, the facility to create and store your data on any media of your choice. So this is the directory path where you are supposed to create the data and the Tally Vault password. I will show the same in the product. If you get any doubts in between, kindly reply to chat so that I will clarify your doubts. So I will create a company. This is the path where I am saving the data. I have created the name. So other information depends on the company. Tally Vault password. So this is one security control which you provide where you can keep your data confidential. So you can give any password. You can give any password, but please remember, participants, whenever you give any Tally Vault password, kindly make a note of the Tally Vault password so that in future, if you forget the password, at least when you have kept it recorded anywhere in the book, you can retrieve it. Because once you give the Tally Vault password, you will be unable to retrieve the Tally Vault password. It is not possible to break Tally Vault password. If you forget the Tally Vault password, then your data will be inaccessible. So kindly make a note of this point. So whenever you give Tally Vault password, make a note in any of the book or anywhere in the notepad so that if you forget in future, it will be easy to access the data. So as it go, I give a password ABC. I repeat the password. We can see the password strength. It depends on the password whether it's weak, strong. I'll enter. I will accept it. So it will ask for Tally Vault password. Kindly mention the same password which you have given. Now the company is getting loaded. So now this company, Mr. Ajay, are able to hear my voice? So now the company is loaded. So now we'll close the company. So when I go for select company, you can see the company name and the financial year is not displaying. So these confidential information will not be disclosed to the user. Or one no, go for select company, these information, company name and the financial year will not be disclosed as you have given the Tally Vault password. Mr. Shraddha Balam has a question. Can we use this feature in train machine? Mr. Shraddha, if you are using multi-user, in the server machine, if you enable the Tally Vault password for a particular company, the same will be applicable for the users in the client machine also, as they will be accessing the same data. Is it clear, Mr. Shraddha Balam? Mr. Rajesh, the ABC demo company is the old one which I have created. I'll just delete it. I think it has led you into confusion. Mr. Shadab, is it clear? Mr. Rajesh, is it clear? If yes, kindly reply to chat. Okay. So as I said, when you give the Tally old password, will be applied to the company. As I said previously, you should be aware of the password. When you load the company name appears, only the folder name appears, but other information will be confidential. So when user tries to log into the company, unless the proper Tally old password is specified, the user will not be able to open this company or read the data as it is encrypted. So it clearly says, unless and until the correct Tally old password is specified, the company won't get loaded. So this is with regard to Tally old password. Is it clear to all the participants? If yes, kindly reply to chat. Yes, Mr. Rohit, it is possible to disable the Tally old password. So Mr. Rohit has a question, how to disable Tally old password later. I'll show in the product. So Mr. Rohit, now I have loaded the company. If you want to disable the Tally old password, from gateway of Tally, click on company info. When you click on company info, here you will have an option called change Tally old. Click on change Tally old. Once when you click on change Tally old, you will get the company in the list. Select the company. Give the current password of the company. Once after giving correct password of the company, next option is new password. Leave the option blank, press enter. So you will get a message called, this will remove encryption from your data. Press enter. In repeat new password, also it should be blank. Press enter. Make change as yes. So your old company will remain as it is. A new company will get created by disabling the Tally old password. So the company which I have loaded will remain as it is. I'll quit the company. Let me go for select company. So another company. As I said, the old company will remain as it is. A new company with existing data and without Tally old password will be created. So you can load the company and you can own the transaction. Is that clear? Mr. Pratik Sangvi has a question. Can we give Tally old password of particular year only and not of all the years? Mr. Pratik Sangvi, as of now, it is not possible to give the Tally old password for a particular year. If you give Tally old password, it will be restricted for the entire financial year. So it is not possible to give Tally old password for a particular financial year. Is that clear, Mr. Pratik Sangvi? Mr. Pratik Sangvi, is it clear? Okay, Mr. Mohammed Shoaib Akhtar Khan has a question. Any reason why a new company is created in Tally when Tally old is changed? Mr. Mohammed Shoaib, when a Tally old password is changed, a new company will get created because in case if this particular company gets deleted or if you change the Tally old password and if you are unable to remember the password of a new company, so in that case the old company will remain as it is, so that user can log in to that particular company and he can retrieve its data. So retrieving its data, the old company will remain as it is. When you alter the password, when you remove the password as well. Is that clear, Mr. Mohammed Shoaib Akhtar Khan? So Kathy has a question, what if we split the company? So Kathy, when you split the company, even you are supposed to provide the Tally old password and the company which got splitted will have the same Tally old password. Without providing Tally old password, you cannot split the company. So Tally old password is mandatory to be mentioned before splitting the company as well. Is it clear, Ms. Kathy? So this is with regard to Tally old password. Now we will move on to security control. So security of data, restricted access. As I said previously, security control needs to be defined based on the work profile of an employee. Typically, in an organization, the administrator has all the access rights to the system, whereas the employees are given access rights based on their work profile, demonstrating segregation of duties. So now we see the product. So here is a proprietor and he want to ensure the staff get restricted access to the data. So how do I do that? And this process is very simple in Tally.ERP 9. Mr. Said Alma Alam has a question. Can you use security control on iPad? Mr. Said Alam, as you can't use Tally in the iPad, in the forthcoming release, when you can use Tally in the iPad, even you can use the security control. But as of now, we have noted the requirement. It will be provided in the forthcoming release. Is that clear, Mr. Said Alam? So, security control. So in the company alteration or creation screen, we have to enable the security control by mentioning the username and password. And once after accepting it, you will get a message, forgetting your password will render your data inaccessible. So now we will see the same in the product. So, in case, while creating a new company, if you want to give the Tally, if you want to enable the security control, so when creating the company itself, you will find the option here, security control option. For existing company, from gateway of Tally, company info, alter, select the company. Here you will find the option called Use Security Control. Enable the option. So name of the administrator. So as I said previously for Tally old password, even for security control, whatever admin level username and password you are specifying, kindly make a note of this username and password, because in case if you forget, then it is not possible to retrieve the data. So, for safer side, make a note of the security control username and password, so that if you forget, so where you could have made a note, I think that we can retrieve the data. So I will give administrator name, password, repeat. And one more thing, dear participants. So whatever administrator level username and password is specifying, this administrator will have all the rights over the user. So when you open the company, so when this administrator logins to the company, he will be having all the rights to create a user and to assign the permissions. So this name of the administrator password is called as admin level username and password. So forgetting your password will render your data inaccessible. Then said, please make a note of the password. Now and press enter. Whenever you give the security control username and password, if you press enter, you have to reload the company. Mr. Ajay, regarding Tally audit features, we'll go to that option a little bit later. Is that okay, Mr. Ajay? So now the company is loaded. So dear participants, we'll take a few examples where we will create 3 data entry operators. First data entry operator will have the right only to view the transaction. Second data entry operator will have the access to only to create the transaction but not to alter the transaction. Third data entry operator will have full access wherein he can alter, delete, and he can pass in such transactions as well. So we will take this example and we will make the configuration. So now the company is loaded through admin level. So if I log out to the company and when I log into the company, it will ask for username and password. So now the company is loaded. So now you have to go for users and password to give the user. So to create users and password from gateway of Tally, go for company info. Under that you will get the option called security control. Click on this option. So you have users and password, types of security. So what we'll do is, Ms. Jyoti, your colleague has given a Tally old password or a security control password. Can you reply to chat whether it's a Tally old password or a security control password? Ms. Jyoti, if they have given the Tally old password, it is not possible to break the Tally old password. Either if they could remember, they can open the company, or else they have to restore the earlier backup. As I said, Tally old password will be in encrypted format, wherein it is not possible to break the Tally old password. But you can break the security control password. That I will tell at the end of the session. Is that clear, Ms. Jyoti? Okay. So first we will create types of security. So types of security is the option where we will define the permissions. It is the option where we define the permission. So first I take it as data entry 1, enter, data entry 1. So when you give data entry 1, if you press enter, you find these many options. Use basic facilities of. Here we are getting data entry. Once after accepting the screen, you will get data entry 1 option. So we have to reconfigure it again. As if we will take data entry, days allowed for backdated voucher. By default, this field is set to no, that is 0. Enter the required number of days. Alteration or insertion of backdated voucher can be done within the number of days mentioned from the date of last entry of vouchers. So if you give 5 days as days allowed, so if your date of last entry is 10th April, from 10th April till the backdated 5th April, user can view the entries or alter the entry. But after 5th, that is prior to 5th April, user will not be able to view the transaction, alter the transaction or delete the transaction. This is how days allowed for backdated vouchers will work. Cut-off date. The user can specify the required date. Tally.ERP 9 does not allow you to record a transaction prior the date mentioned. This can be used in addition to dates allowed for backdated vouchers. This input will be useful in situations where you have completed the audit and do not require any changes in the data. So if you have audited the work, you can give a cutoff date like 31st March 2013 and days allowed as 365 days. So entries prior to 31st March 2013 will not be able to alter, delete or pass the transaction. Mr. Rajesh has a question, where does this take the date from? Can I change the date of the computer and gain access to the data? Mr. Rajesh, cutoff date should be given manually. So when you give the cutoff date manually, so Tally will pick from the date of last entry. It doesn't take from the date of your computer. It picks from the date of last entry from the particular company. Is that clear, Mr. Rajesh? Is it clear, Mr. Rajesh? If you can reply to chat, we will continue. Mr. Rajesh, Tally doesn't have its own calendar. Like it takes based on the date of last entry. As I said, in the cutoff date, if I give 1/4, so from the date of last entry, from this date, whatever I am giving, prior to this date, Tally will not allow any alteration, insertion of vouchers. It depends only on the date of entry done. Mr. Jitendra has a question. If I want to log up to February 2014, how to do that? Mr. Jitendra, if you want to log up to February 2014, so if you have 2 years date, 2 years data, so what you can do is you can give first step 2014, But when you give the cutoff date, please give whatever days allowed. That means from the day books beginning to first Feb, how many days are there? You can just give it here as 900 days, so that the entries which are made prior to 1st February 2014 will not be, the user cannot alter or they cannot insert the voucher. Is that clear, Mr. Jitendra? Mr. Rohit has a question that can he give any period between April and June only? It is not possible to restrict in between the period, Mr. Rohit. Only what you can do is, if you give any period, prior to that period everything will be restricted, and after the period the user will be given access based on the permission of the administrator, whether he can view, alter or display. It is not possible to give restriction in between the periods, as you said, like April and June only. Is that clear, Mr. Rohit? Mr. Jitendra, it is not possible to do month log every time as and when. Every time as and when if you want to restrict, you can change the cutoff date here. So as you said, it is first Feb 2014. Again, in the month of March, if you want to restrict, you have to go and change here as 1st March 2014 manually. So in Tally, you don't have option to give it monthly, where you can't block the period on monthly basis. Is that clear, Mr. Jitendra? Ishad, can you reply to that? Ms. Kyati, is it clear or should I explain it once again? Yes, Jitendra, you are supposed to change the number of days as well. Okay, Ms. Kyati. The thing is that days allowed is nothing but if I give days allowed as 10 days, suppose I haven't given the cutoff date. Mr. Jayaprakash, I'll come to your question after finishing this particular days allowed and cutoff date. Is that clear, Mr. Jayaprakash? Is it okay? So days allowed as given as 10 days. Suppose in my particular books of account, the date of last entry is 1st July 2014. So whatever permissions the user will be given, which are seeing in allow and disallow. So as I said, the date of last entry is 1st July 2014. From 1st July 2014 prior to 1st July, that is 31st May, 30th May, 29th May, 20th May. So these dates. So from 1st July, backdated 10 days, the user will be allowed only to view the transaction, alter or date based on the permission given. And prior to the 10 days, there will be no restriction given to the user. Suppose you have given user to create the transaction. So from 1st July, prior to the 10 days, user can pass the transaction. If user tries to post the transaction on 15th of May, he will get an error. So this is the restriction of days allowed. Cutoff days, if I give as 1/7. So entries which are made prior to 1st July will all be restricted, wherein user cannot alter, delete, or whatever permission you would have given, you could have none of the permissions will work prior to this particular date. Is that clear, Ms. Kathy? Okay. So Mr. Jayaprakash has a question. I made this change for group company also. Mr. Jayaprakash, For a group company, you can't give security control. Whatever security control you are giving, it is for the individual companies. So, the option and the changes will remain same. Is that clear, Mr. Jay Prakash? Okay. So now we will not give any cutoff date or guide date vouchers. We will just go with the normal scenario. So set alter rules for print before sale. Set this option to yes in order to restrict a security level from printing the required voucher type before saving the voucher. Or restrict the security level from printing all the available voucher types before saving the voucher. So if this option is set to yes, so before saving the transaction, user will not be able to print the particular voucher type. So if you want to allow any voucher type, we can allow. So if it is debit note, user will be allowed only to save print the voucher type, print the voucher in case of debit note, and in this one if it takes delivery note, user will be restricted to take the print before accepting the voucher type in delivery note. So here you can restrict any of the voucher type. Allow to connect company. By default, it is set to no. Sorry, it is set to yes. If you need to connect the company to Tally.ERP server, this is in case of remote access, which is not required now. Use Tally.ERP authentication. By default, it is set to no. Set this option to yes if you need to work from a remote location. If you want to work in this company for remote location, this option can be set to yes. As it no, will make that no. So, as I said, first data entry operator will have permission only to view the transaction. So, in that case, in disallow is nothing but what and all restriction you are supposed to give to a user. Full access voucher. That means full access voucher means user cannot pass the transaction, alter the transaction, or delete the transaction. So these options are disallowed to a particular user. Like that you can select any of the report which you can disallow. It is not only with the voucher. You can disallow a VAT computation report to a user. You can disallow trade balance report to a user. You can disallow stock summary report to a user. So there are many reports which you can disallow to a user, but as I am taking the voucher. Mr. Rajesh has a question, how to disallow all the lists? Mr. Rajesh, we have taken this requirement, but as you know, it is not possible to restrict all the options. That is, it is not possible to disallow all the options at one instance, at one shot. We have taken the requirement, it will be provided in the forthcoming release. Is that clear, Mr. Rajesh? Mr. Jitendra has a question, is there any option for FL configuration? For FL configuration, there is no option, Mr. Jitendra. What you can do is you can restrict your company features, F11, F1, F2, F3. But for disallowing FL configuration, it is not possible because FL configuration is Tally specific. It is not company specific. Since FL configuration is not, the option is not available in security control. Is that clear, Mr. Jitendra? Yeah, Mr. Rohit, I'll just repeat once again. F12 feature is Tally specific. So whatever configuration you will do in F12 configuration, it is applicable for all the companies in your particular Tally. But company feature is company specific. So whatever changes you make, it will be specific only for particular company. So hence, as you are giving security control for a particular company, you can disallow only the company features but not F12 configuration. Is that clear, Mr. Rohit? Mr. Mohammed Shoaib Afzal Khan has a question. Does admin also set auditor rights or does Tally auditor version at CA office override the user controlled by the admin? Mr. Mohammed Shoaib, even in the auditor edition, the permissions will remain same. One who knows the admin level password can override the user control. So as I showed you, when creating the company, I have given the username and password. If anyone knows the username and password of the admin, can override the user control. Is that clear, Mr. Mohammed Shoaib Afzal Khan? If yes, can you reply to chat? It's Mr. Mohammed Shoaib. What you are supposed to do is you have to give the rights for the auditor. There you can give specific rights only to view the transaction and to audit the transaction, but not to create or alter. So as I am showing here now, after the end of this you come to what permission you can give to your particular auditor. But make sure that you will not share the admin level username and password to anyone. Ms. Jyoti has a question, print option, in regard to print option, I will explain once again. Ms. Jyoti, I am asking about set alter rules for print before save. Because please reply to chat so that I will explain once again. Okay. Ms. Jyoti, set or alter rules print before save is nothing but if this option is set to yes, she can restrict a security level from printing the required water type. That means when you make this option as yes, you can disallow. Here I am allowing everything. So in this screen, as you can see, if I take credit note, so when user passes the credit note, before saving it, you can't print the voucher. So that restriction will be done when you take it under disallow. When you make it as allow, so all the voucher type print can be taken before accepting the voucher type. If you take it as contra, so all contra vouchers cannot be printed before saving it. Is that clear, Ms. Jyoti? If yes, kindly reply to chat. Okay. Mr. Jayaprakash, it is not possible to disallow for a particular user, but what you can do is, you can the print option can be given, but it will be disallowed for the end. What you can do is, for one user you can make it as yes. I'll just show it once again. For one user, make it as yes, this option, and whatever water types you want to allow, select in the list, and disallow, take it as end of list. So when you create one more user, enable the option and disallow all the water types. So here you can take all accounting water types. So in this case, a particular user will be restricted. Is that clear, Mr. Jayaprakash? While creating one more user, I'll just show you how to disallow the particular user. Mr. Jiten has a question, is there any option to cancel delete option user-wise? Mr. Jitendra, can you be more specific with the question? Can you just be a little more clear so that I can just answer your question and just clear your doubt? So take end of list here. So as I said, full access vouchers, as I said, for the first use data entry operator is allowed only to view the transaction, not to alter or create or delete the transaction. So it is display print vouchers. So this means data entry one operator is not allowed to pass the transaction, alter the transaction or delete the transaction. Is able to only to view or print the transaction. Yes, Mr. Jitendra, I just want showing you how to restrict a particular user not to delete the transaction. Regarding cancellation, I just show you again. Okay. So if you want to restrict to cancel, so what you have to do is you have to disallow even company features. Company features so that you will not get the option of cancelling the voucher. Is that clear, Mr. Jitendra? As you can see where user cannot delete the transaction. So this is data entry one operator. So display print, end of list. I'll get one more data entry 2. So this data entry is allowed only to pass the transaction. So in full disallow, you take it as full access vouchers. Mr. Ajay has a question. This has to be selected one by one. Can we select multiple items? That is multiple options. Mr. Ajay, as is now in default Tally, you are supposed to select one by one. Going further, you may get all the, we have taken the requirement where you can select all the options, you can disable all the options. Maybe selecting multiple items will also be considered. Is that clear, Mr. Ajay? Okay. So data entry 2 operator is allowed to only to pass the transaction, not allowed to delete or alter the transaction. So in disallow, select full access vouchers. In allow, you have to select only create vouchers. That means it's supposed to only create vouchers. It's not supposed to alter, delete the voucher. And go for enter, end of list. So data entry 3. So data entry 3, that is having all the access. So take it as owner. So owner is nothing but he will have full permission except company organization. That means when you take owner, don't allow or don't disallow. That means Mr. Mohammed Shoaib Afzal Khan has a question. Can we create groups and copy the rights of that group to a new user? Mr. Mohammed Shoaib, as of now, you don't have that option. Maybe in future we could take it as a requirement. But as of now, you can't copy or paste this set rights from one user to another user. Is that clear, Mr. Mohammed Shoaib Afzal Khan? Okay. So owner is nothing but is able to alter, delete, pause the transaction, everything, but the owner will not have the permission to log in, to go to company alteration, or to change the username and password of the user level. So you can do all these tasks except going into alteration and configuring the username and password. So as I said earlier, data entry 1 is only supposed to give the transaction. Data entry 2 is supposed to create the transaction but not able to alter or delete. Data entry 3 will have full permission. So when you go here and find data entry, so you have to press Ctrl A and accept it. So this is how you have to allocate the permission. Is that clear to all the participants? If yes, kindly reply to chat. We'll continue. How to assign permission? The participants, if you have any doubt, you can just think. Okay, I'll repeat data entry 3. Owner. Owner is nothing but, apart from data entry 1 and 2, this is one of the security levels which you can find here. You can take owner. So, owner will have all the permission wherein he can delete, alter, and he can pass the transaction, but he will not be able to alter the company. He will not be able to create username and password or change the restriction given by the admin level. So, owner is nothing but full access for passing the transaction, altering the transaction, and deleting the transaction. Is that clear, Mr. Mohammed Shoaib Afzal Khan? If yes, can you try to chat? We'll continue. Okay. So, data entry 1, you'll find the data entry 1 option. Data entry 2 option. You can take it to owner or anything. So now, after giving security, so now we have to create username and password for a user. Wherein, for data entry 1, data entry 2 and data entry 3. Mr. Ajay has a question, can we alter the access given to data entry 1? Let Mr. Ajay, at any given point of time, admin can change the access given. Suppose data entry 1 is given only to display the vouchers. So here you can take create or alter vouchers. So that data entry 1 will be able to create a voucher, alter the voucher, and will be able to delete the voucher as well. Access should always be given only by admin level. Is that clear, Mr. Ajay? Okay. So now we will create a username and password for all the 3 data entry operators. So Tally.ERP allows you to define username and password for your staff. It allows you to define the access right for them. As you know, we have given the rights to them. We are ready to give the username and password for the data entry operators. So this restriction has been given. Mr. Jitendra has a question, why the Tally displays export option once we allow any report set a sales system? Mr. Jitendra, we have taken it as a requirement. It will be result in a forthcoming list wherein user should be restricted to export the data. So this should be restricted in a forthcoming release, Mr. Jitendra. Okay, we have noted the requirement. Is it clear, Mr. Jitendra? Shall we continue? Okay. So we'll go with users and password. So here we have to give the username and password for the particular user. So data entry 1. So as I shown you, so whatever data entry 1 username and password will be configured. So please share only the username and password of data entry 1 to that particular accountant or the data entry operator. And please don't share other data entry operator's username and password. It may lead in deleting the transaction or it may lead in losing the data as well. So data entry 1. So you have to give a username and password. Data entry 2, username and password. Data entry 3, username and password. So for data entry 1 I have given username as yes and I have given a password. Data entry 2, username as D, password. Data entry 3, username as F and a password. Then you have to go for end of list. So this is how you have to assign, you have to create a username and password for the user. Is it clear to all the participants? If yes, kindly reply to chat. We will continue. Okay, I'll accept it. So now ABC Limited Demo Company has a admin level username and password and has 3 data entry operators. Data entry 1 is given restriction only to view the transaction. Data entry 2 is given restriction only to create the transaction but not to alter or delete the transaction. Data entry 3 is given restriction to create, alter or delete the transaction. So now I am in the admin level of the company. Let me pass few transactions in order to duplicate the restriction given. So I am doing it in admin level. So let me pass few transactions. So there are 5 transactions in the admin level. Now I will quit the company. Now the company is quit. So now the permissions for user has been given. Now when user tries to log in, it will ask for username and password. So now this company has 4 username and password. One is of the admin and 3 data entry operators. Now by logging with the first data entry operator, username is yes and password. And you can see for the first data entry operator, we haven't given permission to pass the transaction. Hence, under transaction, he is not getting any option. So he is unable to pass the transaction. So when we go for display demo, here he is able to give all the transactions. But we haven't given permission to alter or to delete the transaction. When you will try to log in, you get error code no access allowed. So now user is restricted, then you can't do any activity rather than only viewing the transaction. So as I said, if you want to view in detail, you can press Alt Enter. You can see the transaction, but Alt D, Enter, Alter, none of the options will be allowed for the user. So Alt Enter is to view the transaction in detail. But you can't delete, alter or you can't pass the transaction. This is first data entry operator permission. Now I will log out the company. I will log into the company from the second user, that is D. The second user is given permission to pass the transaction. So I am getting accounting vouchers, inventory vouchers. I'll go for accounting vouchers. I'll take the bank, I'll take the party. It's just a dummy transaction which I'm passing. See, the entry got accepted. So for second user, we have given permission only to create the transaction. But when I go for alter, see again I can see the option called no access allowed. That means user is restricted not to alter the transaction, but he is given permission to create the transaction. So wherein you can find where if you have data entry operators, you are allowing him only to post the transaction. They can only post the transaction and other activities are restricted. So you find this error. So I log out the company. I log into the company from the third user. That is user images. Whom we have taken as owner. The owner, as I said, he has full permission. He can pass the transaction. I am passing a dummy transaction. The entry got accepted. Now if I go to display demo, as I said, the owner has full permission. He can alter, he can delete, he can pass a new transaction. I have shown you how to pass a new transaction. Now I will show you how to delete. See, the user is able to delete the transaction and is able to alter. I'll alter the entry. 20, it is 35,000 the value, I'll give it as 25,000. See, user is able to alter it. Yes, Mr. Jitendra, I'll just show you what type of security permissions you have given for all the three users. I'll just log out from the company. I'll log into the company from admin level. I'll go to the security control, type of security. See, Mr. Jitendra, in data entry 1 we have given only to display vouchers. That's the reason when you go for display demo, you are able to view the transaction. When you click on enter, you are getting error called no access allowed. And in the gateway of Tally, accounting vouchers and inventory vouchers were restricted because they haven't given option to create the transaction. This is with the data entry 1. Data entry 2, we have given create the vouchers. So he was able to create the transaction, but he was not able to alter the transaction. Data entry 3. So data entry 3 has full permission, so is able to alter or delete the transaction. Is that clear, Mr. Jitendra? Request, can we reply to chat? Mr. Imad Patidar has a query. I am unable to give any user the only voucher print option. If I restrict the user rights to alteration, it won't allow the user to print the voucher. Mr. Imad Patidar, if you give a restriction to alter the transaction, you will be able to delete the transaction as well. So, if you want to give user to print the transaction, so I have shown in the first data entry operator, give only display voucher. So user will be able to view the transaction as well as will be able to print the voucher. Is the same with Imad Patidar. I will just show once again from the first data entry operator. I log out the company. I will select the company. I am logging in from the first user. I am logging from the first user. If I go to display dashboard, I am getting all the vouchers. So here, when you press Alt Enter, So you can able to view the transaction and you can able to print. As I told, it is here you haven't given the print option. So where you have given it, the restriction should be given here as well. I log into the company from admin level. So display vouchers, you give it as display print vouchers. When you give display print vouchers, now I am logging into the company from user level. Alt P. So now we can print the voucher. Is that clear? Mr. Imad Pateda, how to give restriction for user to print and view the transaction? Okay. Mr. Ajit Ahmad has a question. When a user is disabled to see bank book and able to create voucher, okay, but he will be able to see the bank transaction by page up and page on the voucher entry mode. Whether it can be disabled. Mr. Adil Ahmad, it is not possible to restrict the bank transaction type because in the entry level you are disabling the bank book, but in the entry you are supposed to allocate a bank transaction type. So that will be possible, but page up, page down is not one. When you press page up and page down, only when we have given a restriction to pass the transaction, we can press page up and we can view. But when you haven't given any option to view the transaction, it is not possible. Is that clear, Mr. Adil Ahmad? You said, can you reply to chat? Mr. Ankit has a question. How to restrict viewers only see sales entry and not other entries appear in daybook? You must see only sales and delivery note. Mr. Ankit, in display daybook, you can't restrict to view only sales entry or delivery note. That is not possible because all the entries will be displayed, but you can restrict a user only to pass sales entry and delivery note. But in daybook, all the entries can be displayed. There is no option to restrict a particular voucher type. Like, for example, as you said, sales entry. Is that clear, Mr. Ankit? You can kindly reply to chat. Mr. Ankit, if you want to give access to salesman, you have to create a data entry operator, give him access only to pass the sales entry and not other entries, but he will be given permission only to view other entries as well. But to post a transaction, they can see only the entries, other entries he can see, but he will not be able to alter, print, delete or make any changes. So that restriction can't be given in default Tally. Is that clear, Mr. Ankit? And you had one more question, that can you copy security level from one company to another company? We have noted this requirement, Mr. Ankit. It will be given in the forthcoming release. Mr. Ankit, regarding viewing only sales transaction in daybook, it is not possible. You can go with customization because you can't restrict a user only to view sales entry, but you can restrict a user only to pass the transaction, which I said previously. Okay, then we just go with sorry, participants, there is some technical problem. I'll reload the tally once again. This chatty, yeah, you can restrict the user only to see sales register but not general register. We can disallow the general register from the list. Dear participants, kindly bear the Tally.ERP has some technical problem. I'll just reset the tally once again. Dear users are able to see the tally now. You said kindly reply to chat. Okay, so we'll continue. So I'll just log into the company from the third user for which we have given the admin level, password. See, as I said, when I go for Alt F3, that is company info, he is given full permission, but we can't alter the company, we can't alter the restriction, that is the right given by admin level to the user. Apart from this, we will have full authority in passing the transaction, deleting the transaction, alter the transaction. Mr. Ankit has a question. Can we create or alter security control online for multiple local users via Tally Control Center? Mr. Ankit, by default it is not possible because whatever security control you are configuring, these informations will be saved in the local system. If it is a remote access, then through control center you could have altered the permission of security control username and password, but this will be given in the company level, so it is not possible to do it via control center. Is that clear, Mr. Ankit? If yes, can you refer to chat, Mr. Ankit? Yes, Mr. Ankit, I'll just repeat it once again. I just repeat it. See, as I said, in remote, through control center, it is only possible to change username and password of remote access, but in case of security control, you have to log in to a particular company through admin level, then only you can change the username and password. Unless and until you log into the company, without logging into the company, you can't do it from the control center as well. Through control center, it is not possible. Is that clear, Mr. Ankit? Now, Mr. Ankit, even when you log into admin level, and if you log into remote access, it is not possible. Okay. Mr. Ankit, as you said, it's not in the roadmap. In case if it is given, we will just let you know, and even it will be provided in our website as well. Mr. Mohammed Shoaib has a question. Can this user with full access owner can change user access? No, Mr. Mohammed Shoaib. As you can see in the screen, the alteration and security control option is disabled. So the owner will have full right only to pass, alter, delete or change the transaction, but not to alter the company or not to alter the restrictions given by the admin level. Is that clear, Mr. Mohammed Shoaib? He said, can you try to chat? Mr. Jitendra has a question. Can I explain again how to disable the cancel option? Then Mr. Jitendra, I'll just show you how to receive the cancel option. I am logging to the company from admin level. So in admin level, security control, types of security, data entry 1 is able to display print the voucher. Data entry 2 is able only to create the voucher. So when is able to create the vouchers, Mr. Rohit, regarding remote access, we have different section, but with regard to security control, okay, Mr. Jinjan, let's show it. See, in types of security, I haven't done any changes. We have given an option to create vouchers. So you want to know how to restrict the cancelling thing. That is, the user should not cancel the voucher. I'll just show you. See, from the admin level, whatever is in F11, F1, you have to disable this option. Use reversing journal and optional vouchers. Sorry, it's cancelling, right? Okay, I just open the company through user level. DD is a user. See, Mr. Jitendra, the cancel option is not showing because you have given only option to for the transaction. So it is not giving the option for you to cancel as well, even here. Only when you give the option to create voucher, the user will be given option to cancel the voucher. Or else, the user will not be given to cancel the voucher. Is that clear, Mr. Jitendra? Mr. Ankit, from daybook, it is not possible to restrict the printing and exporting. For exporting or mailing the report, we have taken the requirement which should be provided in the forthcoming release. Is that clear, Mr. Jitendra? Okay, Mr. Jitendra, I'll show you how to view the entire entry. So to view the entire entry and log into the admin level, you have to give a certain permission. Here we have given display print vouchers. We can give display vouchers. So Jitendra, here you have to give display vouchers. When you give display vouchers, now I am logging into the company from user level. DD. If you press Alt Enter, you can see the full transaction. Alt Enter. You can make a note. Alt Enter. So only to view the transaction. Is that clear, Mr. Jitendra? Okay. Mr. Himat Patera has a question. I have tried this same solution from my system, but it won't allow the print. Mr. Jitendra, what you have to do, you have to give If you want to print the voucher, what you have to do is you have to give the option. If you can just see the screen, I am loading the company through admin level. I am loading the company through admin level. Security control, type of security, so data entry 1. What you can do is you can give print voucher, display voucher. Kindly make a note, print voucher, display voucher. I am doing it for the first data entry operator. Now I am logging into the company from the first data entry operator. So you can see the transaction and press Alt Enter to open the transaction, Alt key to print the transaction. Is that okay, Mr. Himmat Pateda? You can even see the transaction, you can print the transaction as well. Display voucher and as well as below that print voucher. Give these two restrictions, the requirement will be fulfilled. Is that clear, Mr. Himmat Pateda? Mr. Mohammed Roy has a question. Is there security control in Tally by which Tally automatically logs out after not being used for less than 10 minutes? Also, can this time limit be set by the user? If user have to leave this workstation physically, no one gets the access. Mr. Mohammed Roy, a very valid question, but as if in Tally, this restriction is not given, but we have taken this requirement which will be provided in the forthcoming release. That is restriction for a particular user for a specific time. So this is with regard to security control, restricting permissions and all. And as I said earlier, please make a note of username and password. If you forget, it will be inaccessible. So this we did. Creating permissions, we configured permissions. We created username and password for three data entry operators, the name and the password. And whenever you open the company, whatever password you have given for the data entry operator, they will load the company. So as I said, whatever restriction you have given, it will be restricted. Master keep a restrict. You will not be able to create the voucher ledger. So as we clicked on data daybook, we got an error code no access allowed. That means the data entry operator is restricted. Mr. Ankit has a question regarding Tally vault password. Mr. Ankit, it is not possible to break the Tally vault password. As I said, when you give a new Tally vault password to the company, the existing company will remain same. Either you have to reload that company or if you have any previous backup in which Tally vault password is not given, in that company you have to start working. You get a message? So next option is voucher type security. As I said, I will go to the particular user. See, data entry user is given permission to create voucher, but I will give permission, you should create only sales voucher, but not any other voucher. So data entry 2 should create only sales voucher. Apart from sales voucher, it should not create any other voucher. This is voucher type security, and this voucher type security is given from release 4.5 onwards. And voucher type security will help the business owner specifically both individual voucher type, example contra and payment, restriction and activity level. Restriction for different users will be given. Mr. Ankit, as of now we don't have this check for restricting maximum 5 to 10 attempts. Going further, we may come up with this option, but as of now, user can type the username and password a number of times unless and until he gives the correct username and password. the company will not get loaded. So here user is given permission only to create vouchers, create especially sales. Now I will log out from the company. I will log into the company from second user, B. See, if I go for accounting vouchers, so I am getting only sales. Contract, payment, receipt, journal, credit note, purchase, debit note, all the vouchers are disabled because the user is given only to purchase transaction and not any other transaction. Hence, it is restricted. This is with regard to voucher type security. Is it clear to all the participants? If yes, please reply to chat. We will continue. Okay. So next is digital opening in education mode. See, this option is in the company operation you can see digital opening in education mode. If you make this option as yes, if anyone takes your data and if we go to some other location and if you try to open your particular company in educational mode, this company will not log in. See, when you go for select company, you can see here Tally is in education mode. When you enter, you get a list of company, but when you select the company, though the company is listed here, it will not load the educational mode. Instead, you will come to company info menu. As I said, you will get the company in the list. When you enter, the company will not get loaded. It will go to the same option called select company. Mr. Ankit, you can't have this POC number or account ID. It is not possible. As I said, it is given in the company, particularly company information. It is not possible to map your serial number or your account ID. So, digital opening in education mode is nothing but you are restricting this company to open in education mode. So, no user can take your data and can load the company in the educational mode. So, serial number should be there to load the company. This is with regard to digital opening in educational mode. So, this will finish our webinar session with regard to security control. Any question and answer, please raise through chat screen. Next Mr. Mohammed Shoaib Dr. Khan, if anyone tries to, it is with regard to the company. And the Tally is in education mode, and when you open the company, it will not show. The company only will not load it, so that there is no question of giving a Tally word password or a security control password. When a company gets loaded, only can give a Tally word password or a security control password. But here, the company only is not loaded, so you can't give a Tally word password or security control password. Is that clear, Mr. Mohammed Shoaib Dr. Khan? And if you disable the option called digital opening in education mode, if that option is set to no, and if you open the company education mode, the Tally word password will still be in the encrypted only. So any questions, participants? If you have any questions, can you reply through chat? We'll wind up. Any questions, participants? And for any support queries, you can just contact our toll-free number. And if you want to chat, you can just log into www.tallysolutions.com. And if you want to post any queries through mail, you can just mail to support@tallysolutions.com. If you want to just make a note of our toll-free number, chat login website and the email ID for sending your queries. So I just winding the session. Thanks for all the participants for attending the session. Hope the session was very informative to everyone. So just closing webinar session. If you have any queries, can you post in chat or we will end the session.